Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul. In this video I'm going to show you how beautiful winter can be in southern Ontario. I'll share some good and bad things that happened to me during this month, and also try out a new Konica lens. New, I mean old Konica lens. I try and film some birds, and also I'll show you my yoga routine that I do throughout the winter. And I'll show you some things I do to keep myself entertained and prevent seasonal depression. Alright, so it's a Konica 50mm 1.7. Hey Luna, 1.7, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Konica Hexanon 1.7 50mm lens with an adapter for Lumix cameras, micro four thirds adapter. Hey, leave it. Not for you. Not for you. Alright, so let's see if I see the aperture works. It does work. Aperture works. Seems to be a few dust spots, but it's not a big deal. Very excited to try this out once I get home, because I have the 40mm 1.8 lens as well, so this is going to be my second lens. Alright, so this is the Konica lens. Konica lens 1.7. Does it look vintage? I'm not sure. We are gonna see. I was pleasantly surprised how nice the lens looked. I really like the colors and also how sharp it is. It's amazingly sharp for a vintage lens. And the only issue I have with these lenses is that they're not stabilized, so they're shaky, very shaky, so you pretty much have to use them on a tripod. And this is the US Coast Guard ship doing their routine patrols along the river, which is the Detroit River, and the borderline is right in the middle of the river. And this is the following day. This is the Canadian Coast Guard going the opposite way, also patrolling the border. Having the camera on a tripod makes a huge difference in image quality. And here's back to the Konica lens. You can see a little bit of the blur here, as the lens is able to blur out the background when stopped down, even on micro four thirds camera. And the colors are a little bit, I notice, like, to my eyes at least, I see a lot of blue, maybe aquamarine kind of color rendition. And I think it's very pretty. It's very cinematic, I think, looking image, maybe retro colors a little bit on this lens. And I'm looking forward to building a whole set of these. Over the next few days I was testing out the lens and was having a lot of fun with it. Here's a time lapse I did, a little bit overexposed. And here's the lens with my dog, trying to get a portrait here, but trying to get an eye shot, but she wasn't holding steady. It's really easy to lose focus, especially wide open, and my dog's feeling very uncomfortable at this point as I'm getting closer. And I also shot other time lapses the following days, but I'm not myself sure if this is the same lens or a different lens. I guess you can be the judge. I think one standout feature of the Konica 50mm 1.7 is the overall sharpness. These container ships typically travel around 6 knots. However, they do slow down in winter, especially when there's ice on the river, like there was on this day on the Detroit River. Shipping goods around the world by container ship is by far the cheapest way of doing it. The modern world would not exist without the free flow of container ship traffic between countries. The Algosaurus is an oil tanker ship built in 2009, and it flies the Canadian flag. The ship is 144 meters long and can carry 16 tons of fuel. Some of these massive container ships come all the way from Africa and Europe. Basically, they can enter the Great Lakes through the St. Lawrence River, passing by Montreal, and the river enters into the Atlantic Ocean. So they're quite the journey some of these ships take to get here, and the traffic doesn't even stop in winter. Some of them will continue on until the ice covers the rivers, and then they'll have to wait for an icebreaker or till next year. Okay, so this is the Konica. It's usually too dark in here. This is 1.8. This is the Konica 50mm 1.8. Everything's in focus. So these are the two Konica lenses I purchased. This is the f1.7 Konica. It's just mounted on the camera with an adapter. Here's how that works. And it can be adapted to the Micro Four Thirds camera with just one of these adapters for like 20 bucks. And this is the 40mm f1.8 lens. It's a very nice lens too, a little bit softer, a lot softer I would say. As I've mentioned in my previous video, this year I got into winemaking. Actually, maybe 2 years ago I got into winemaking, but this year I made a lot more wine. Made cherry wine and also mulberry wine and cherry liqueur. So what I'm hoping to do is, as mentioned before, is to make a bar outside. Yeah, so maybe I'm gonna move where the barbecue is and maybe build out something over there. Trying to decide what the location should be. And the bar would be sort of like a tiki bar. So in addition to collecting winemaking equipment, I've also been collecting things related to tiki bars. So just somewhat random decorative things with a tropical feel to them. Sort of tropical looking things, like hummingbirds and just random finds. Sort of like a Indiana Jones tiki bar, Hawaiian inspired, maybe a little bit Asian inspired. So yeah, whatever I can find basically. Starting to accumulate a little bit too much of this stuff, so I'm gonna have to pare it down and decide what to keep and what to get rid of. But that's the plan. So I got really interested when I saw this bar for sale at Costco. It was $2,500. I was just studying it, how it was constructed. Did not seem that well made, and I think I can make one better myself. But it was interesting nonetheless seeing one for sale. Seasonal depression is a real thing, and there's some things I do to actively try and prevent it. For me, the best part of winter are the cozy nights where you can just sit inside, cozy up with a blanket and a book, and just relax. So one thing you can do is just to embrace it and enjoy the time indoors. This year we got a day of perfect powder snow, the kind of snow that skiers dream of. Overall, February has been overcast, more so than previous years, with lots of white and grey days with diffused light filling the sky. By middle of February, there was still lots of snow on the ground, making conditions ideal for skiing. Flying drones is something I've been doing for over 10 years now, and I absolutely love it. I can't get over the third-person perspective you get. Seeing your world from the top down, it's just amazing, and it's especially beautiful in winter. I live in a sort of bay area of the river that tends to get a lot of ice. Maybe not as much ice as in previous years, but it's enough to accumulate. To be honest with you, I thought I'd film and photograph a lot more birds than I managed to do. I did see this robin one time on a walk with my dog. It's just in the branches there. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. I don't know. I haven't seen them for first half of winter, and now they seem to be back, so I'm not sure where they went. In the middle of February, this cardinal appeared outside of my mom's kitchen window, and I did manage to film on my phone, but the image quality is very poor. I had broken so many phones, I just decided to go with a cheap one. And the downside is the quality of the video isn't very good at all. But this bird, definitely the prettiest bird we have, if you like bright colored birds. For sure that's an eagle. The eagles, while I see them outside my window, have been somewhat elusive and difficult to photograph. Been 2 or 3 of them that have been perching at my trees. It's a little bit difficult to get a clean shot. I do see them out on the river where they tend to float down. They always seem to have managed to catch something, either a fish or maybe even a duck or maybe even a rabbit. It's hard to tell from this distance. Unlike many bird species that migrate south to escape the winter, these swans chose to stay behind. And as you probably may know, swans pair bond for life, and this pair was most likely mated, and they stayed together for the entire winter. I've seen hundreds of ducks on the river this year, and the swans have kept them company, although sometimes they seem to be pretty territorial. As time flows by, the river's surface shifts and changes, a soft transition as the winter landscape slowly melts into a blanket of white. Having lived most of my life in a cold climate, where the winter gets really cold and harsh, one thing that keeps me going and keeps me happy is a gym membership, and this one turned out to be a pretty good one. Alright, so just heading to my gym. This month my gym purchased 2 professional massage chairs, and I had the pleasure of trying these out. They're really great. There's like 4 different kinds of massages you can select from. My favorite are the recovery and stretch programs. Both feel really great on the back. Alright, so this is what breakfast is today. It's actually a really nice morning here. So just some toast, an egg, avocado, 3 eggs, and cottage cheese with some cucumber. And I'm just gonna have this in front of the computer. The other thing that I find super beneficial is having a yoga routine. I wouldn't call it exactly a daily practice, however I would say 5 out of the 7 days, unless I'm sick, I tend to do yoga. And as mentioned in the previous video, this video series that I started doing, this 7-day workout, usually I've been doing one of those videos. These workouts are a lot of fun, especially in winter where there isn't that much to do and you're kind of stuck at home for a lot of the days or a lot of the time because the weather is too cold to exercise outdoors. So having a yoga routine you could do every day can go a long way to make you feel good. I don't really think it's the best exercise you can do. Probably the most beneficial thing you can do for yourself is just to go for a walk, an hour-long walk every day. Depending on the type of yoga you do, I guess it can be more intensive than walking. This variety, however, is not. However, the mind-body connection is still great. I think there's a lot of misconception. I think a lot of people think of yoga as just stretching, where in reality it's the combination of both stretching and breathing together, synchronized, that makes you feel good. Overall, it's been a very gloomy winter with lots of snow days and just cloudy sky all the time, with the occasional break. However, it's been colder than typical, and the cold has lasted for much longer. A lot of elderly people struggle to get through February and the winter.